We've transformed our facilities and campus to a top-level Division I division football. We trained and prepared our bodies and minds to high level.
It's been nearly 4 years since the Walnut Hills Eagles last won a game in the Eastern Cincinnati Conference slate. But today they have a chance to change that as they go on the road to Milford Eagles Stadium for their ECC opener. Walnut coming off a 27-24 win last week will look to claim another victory here and get to 2 wins for the first time since 2021. Hi everybody, I'm Graham Dunwoody, taking you through tonight's action between the Battle of the Eagles, Walnut Hills, and Milford. Milford, of course, a conference opponent we're familiar with. They have been in the conference since its founding as the Walnut Hills team runs onto the field. Xander Hargis bearing the flag today. Milford, 2 years removed from an undefeated ECC conference championship. They fell in the second round in 2023 to 8-seeded Mason and have not managed to reach that height since. Last year started very strong, came to Mark Stadium for their ECC opener and left with a 38-0 resounding victory with all those points scored in the first half. However, midway through that 2024 campaign, they faced West Claremont and lost that game 49-21. Milford has really not been the same since that loss, as it exposed a pretty glaring weakness in run defense. West Claremont ran for over 400 yards in that game. As Milford now running out to a smattering of applause. Those Milford fans always travel very well. We saw them in big droves with their own little signs in Mark Stadium last year. They will always have the support of a big community, as do the Eagles. They also traveled well last weekend. 2 very passionate fan bases looking to see their team claim an ECC win. Milford won 3 of their 5 home contests last year. Walnut was their only win on the road. Milford was shut out in the first round of the playoffs last year by St. Xavier. Pretty much an underseeded juggernaut down there in that 6-11 matchup. You do not want to draw St. X if you're the 11 seed. Milford could not get anything going in that playoff matchup. They are led by ninth-year head coach Tom Grippa. Grippa has led the Eagles to 7 of their 8 playoff appearances in school history. Their one time without him was 1986. They had a 30-year drought. Grippa made the playoffs the first year was hired in 2017, and in all but 1 year since then, he has brought his Eagles back to the promised land each and every year, and he has earned their first 4 playoff wins in school history as well. Milford won the toss. They will defer. Last year to start the game, Walnut kicker Colin Ross booted one off a Milford player, a surprise onside kick. That stole a possession for the Eagles. It didn't go anywhere. The Eagles were shut out last year 38-0. And Tyler McQueen, who many would define as the hero of last week's loss to Withrow, who had 4 booming punts, averaging almost 50 yards per punt, will be the kicker. Milford had one of the best kickers in the city for the past couple of years, Mason Cooper. He has since gone on to graduate. McQueen, senior punter and kicker, will look to get this one underway. McQueen approaches the ball, kicks it with his right foot. It's a high spiraling one. Jason Nicholas calls for a fair catch now, runs it out to the 15, left side to the 20, and that's about all he'll get. Taken down by Jake Dixon, senior linebacker. And it'll be good field position to start the game for Milford. So that brings out the Walnut Hills offense. Robert Green took all the snaps at running back last week. He's up here in the press box this week, so it'll be Jonathan Jackson Jr., who we've seen take snaps at running back in the Lakota West playoff game last year, to start the game at running back. 6 men on the line, 3 receivers to the left. And we'll see how Walnut attacks this Milford defense that stifled them last year. 1st and 10 from the 21-yard line. Senior quarterback Will Rivers making his 18th career start, and whistles will blow the play dead. Foul is against Milford. Somebody may have jumped offside, so it'll be a free 5 yards to start this one off for Walnut. 1st and 5, now at the Walnut 26. Will Rivers last year accounted for a career-high 4 touchdowns, 3 through the air and 1 on the ground. Jackson goes in motion, goes back right. He gets the ball here, running to the 29, powers his way not much further than that. He gets about 3 or 4. Taken down by defensive back Chase Gale of Milford. Gain of just about 3 for Jackson, and it's 2nd down and 2. Like, of all the teams in this ECC slate, this one may be the one to test how much your run game can get away with. Milford stacking the box, about 8 of them in there. Lures goes in motion, hurdles back out. Rivers runs it right side, trying to find a hole, and he'll fight forward to about the 31. 1st down, Eagles. We saw Will Rivers use his legs to get his first career rushing touchdown last week in that 4th quarter against West High, a 20-yard touchdown run on 4th and 10. Here he gets a 1st down. Give him about 2. Walnut picks up a 1st down early. Lowell Mesfin was the starter at tight end. He has not left the game yet. Nicholas Murray and Lures, the starters at receiver once again. Brady Nolman, the center. 2 straight runs to open the game for Walnut. They were about 80% pass last week. Snap to Rivers. He will keep the ball, run up the middle, and he'll get stonewalled and stopped. That is Aiden Luley, sophomore linebacker, on the speed option. Didn't look like either of Walnut's options were very appealing. Loss of 1 brings up 2nd down and 11. Walnut starting 5 on the offensive line, the same as last week. Jonathan Smith, Aiden Menaze, Brady Nolman, Eric Johnson, and Stevie Gordon from left to right. 2nd down and 10 from the Milford 31. Snap to Rivers, and a flag will stop play. False start on Walnut will back him up 5 yards. So after Milford gave him 5 yards with an offsides, do not hear who that number is on. Officials do have a PA system. Milford's press box, very robust, and so is their PA system. Didn't hear a number called, but Walnut will be backed up 5 yards to their own 26. 2nd down and 15 now. That was about to be a pass play by Rivers. That was blown dead. Braylon Dennis will be the running back for this play. Normally see him at wide receiver. We saw him line up in the backfield once. He throws left side for Kalen Murray. Got to get past the double team. He'll try to fight forward and won't get very far. About to the 30. Chase Gale, defensive back again on the tackle. Give Kalen Murray about 4 or 5 yards to get him back to the original line of scrimmage. Will Rivers last week, 16 of 36, 3 touchdowns, 303 yards. It's only his 2nd career game throwing a touchdown and no interceptions. Walnut will check in Xander Hargis for this play. He will replace Kalen Murray, who just caught that last pass. 6 men on the line, 1 receiver left, 2 right, Dennis flanking Rivers. And another flag is thrown from the very back judge. Delay of game against Walnut. Backs up another 5 yards. Play clock shown to the right of either goalpost in the end zone, about 74 yards away from where Will Rivers and company are currently set up. Second procedural penalty on Walnut this drive will make it 3rd down and 15. This is not how you wanted your drive to go. Snap to Rivers, back to pass. Rivers steps up in the pocket, has to evade pressure, and he'll be knocked down and sacked. Taken down by Sione Lolo, senior defensive lineman for Milford. Lolo, a strong presence on that defensive line, brings down Will Rivers, a Milford player, down after that sack. So 2 procedural penalties and a sack. Rivers could not find anyone through the air. He was sacked twice last week. The injured player is not Lolo. We see him in the huddle over on the Milford sideline, lying at about the 22, a few yards behind where Rivers took the sack. We saw quite a few injury timeouts last week at Arch McCartney Stadium. West High, a lot of two-way players got tired fast. Milford, not as many of those, as we'll see shortly. Injured player for Milford is helped to his feet, and the Milford trainers will help Nick Freeland walk off. Freeland's senior linebacker had 3 tackles last week against Withrow, 24 in his career. One of the players who helped close the pocket on Will Rivers. It's a loss of 2 on the sack of Rivers. It's going to be 4th and 17. Colin Ross back to punt. Standing at his own 12-yard line, Carson Long, senior wide receiver from Milford, is the return man. Long standing about the 38. Ross punted 3 times last week. Low snap, kick is up, and it is in the air. It'll bounce at about the 40, take a walnut bounce toward the 50, and pass just there to about the Milford 49. That's where it'll be down by Eli Newman. Good field position to start the next drive for Milford. Walnut ran off about 4 minutes of game clock on that drive. Ran the ball more than we were expecting, but procedural penalties did kill the drive. Milford offense led by junior quarterback Jaden Bodley. Threw it 29 times, 16 completions, 96 yards, 2 interceptions last week against Milford. We saw him in the waning minutes of last year's tilt between these two squads. Bodley was 5 of 6 for 55 yards in garbage time after Milford went up big. Snap to Bodley. He'll hand to his running back up the middle, and that back will get about 3 yards before being pushed back by linebacker Jalen Little. Jackson Hopkins was the back. About a 2-yard gain puts the ball at the 48 for Milford. We saw Jonathan Jackson Jr. setting up on the edge when he came back from his injury last week. He's in a more traditional linebacker spot this week. Snap to Bodley. He's back to pass. Bodley lofts it left side, and it is incomplete. Joshua Thornton in coverage and no flags. Carson Long, the intended receiver, that'll bring him up 3rd and long. Good blanket coverage by Joshua Thornton. Facing Omari Beckley last week, Walnut's exterior DBs were not tested very much. Dayron Ackland had 2 interceptions, but most of Omari Beckley's passes went over the middle. Milford, a more spread-out offense, and Jaden Bodley not afraid to spread the field and test those outside DBs. Dayron Ackland patrolling over the middle right now. Snap to Bodley on 3rd and 8. He throws quickly across the middle, and he finds his receiver at the 35. Sinks to the 30, and taken down at the 25 is Caleb Brazington. Gain of 23 across the middle, right on cue. And a good ball thrown by Jaden Bodley. Milford going up tempo. 6 on the line for this play. Jackson Hopkins to the left of Jaden Bodley. Snap to Bodley. He will hand Hopkins up the middle. Hopkins will get about 3. Jonathan Jackson Jr. there to slow him down. Xander Hargis finishing it off. Gain of 3 to the 22-yard line. In every contest under Tom Grippa, Milford's offense has thrown for more yards than they have ran for against Walnut Hills. Milford's Jordan Davis, who is a very promising young back for them, transferred over to Anderson before this season, had 3 touchdowns in his first game with the Raptors. Snap to Bodley. He will hand it left side for Hopkins, looking to find a hole, and he will get about another 3. Eli Newman gets him from behind. It'll be 3rd and medium.
On the tackle, number 1, Xander Hargis.
Hopkins patient on that run, followed his blocks. Puts Milford inside the red zone. Walnut again swapping at that interior defensive line spot. They're going Mateo Zuniga and Eric Johnson playing both ways. Snap to Bodley. He will hand it left side for Hopkins. Cuts back across the middle, and he will get close to the first down. Taken down from behind by Eric Johnson. It'll be 4th down and short. So 3 straight 3-yard runs by this Milford offense. Milford will keep their offense out there, as they do. 3 straight runs by Jackson Hopkins. 6 on the line again for the Eagles. Hopkins will shift off the left hip of Bodley. 4th and 1 at the Walnut 16. Snap to Bodley. Hands Hopkins running up the middle, and he will have the first down. Gets a couple extra after that. He finds a hole. Tackle made by Mateo Zuniga. Four-yard gain for Hopkins. He has run 5 times already, more than last week. Mateo Zuniga will now exit, replaced by Stevie Gordon. Milford so far has only gone to the air twice. A little over 5 to play. 1st and 10 for Milford from the Walnut 12. The big pass by Bodley to Brazington, Milford's biggest play. Empty set. Bodley will run it up the middle and get taken down from behind after a very short game. Braylon Coleman on the tackle. Good read by Coleman. Will bring up 2nd and long. Gain of about 1, maybe 2. As Walnut continues to rotate play by play at that interior defensive line position. Bodley not quite at Omari Beckley's level of running threat from last week, but he can run the football, as we just saw. Snap to Bodley, back to pass. Bodley throws toward the end zone for Joey Dahmer. He's caught it. Touchdown, Milford. With Braylon Dennis in coverage, Joey Dahmer hauls in an 11-yard touchdown pass. 3rd career touchdown for Dahmer and the 1st passing TD in the career of Jaden Bodley. Gets Milford on the board first at 6-0. First touchdown of the year for the Milford Eagles. And the fans get to hear their fight song in their home opener. Tyler McQueen on for the extra point to make it 7-0. Chase Whitehouse will hold. Didn't see any extra point kicking last week at West High from the opponents. Snapped is good, hold is good, and McQueen splits the uprights to make it 7-0 Milford late in the first quarter. So Milford finds their way into the end zone. Jaden Bodley looked pretty accurate on that drive. Bodley has some big shoes to fill. The Eagles coming off 5 years of Austin Hardin and Luke Brand, 2 very, very good quarterbacks under Tom Grippa. He has a knack for developing guys like that. Jaden Bodley looked poised on that drive. And capped it off with his first career touchdown pass. So after one drive by each team, it's Milford who has themselves the lead. Walnut has not scored a point in the first 3 quarters of any of their games against Milford since the last time they won, which was back in 2019. That was a 35-7 victory by that ground and pound offense under Gary Beauchamp. Kick is short and fielded by Nicholas at the 15, kicks his way to the 20, Nicholas to the 30, runs right side along the sideline to the 35 before being forced out shy of the 40 by Chase Gale. Good return by Nicholas, the senior captain at wide receiver. That will place the ball. We're going to actually throw a flag on that return. Already saw 2 flags against Walnut in their opening drive on offense. This looks like it'll be number 3. We'll see how far back it takes them.
Receiving team, number 10.
And holding is called on Walnut against Lowell Mespin. Make that Jonathan Jackson on that return on the correction by the ref. And that'll wipe out the big return and put Walnut back at the 15. So cancel that good field position. Walnut will have to start in the shadow of their own end zone once again. And this is what we're seeing from Mason Cooper, who just kept pinning Walnut back when we saw him come to Mark Stadium last year. 2 receivers each side on the first play from scrimmage on this drive for Walnut. Braylon Dennis is the back, as we see Jonathan Jackson now go to the sideline with his helmet off. Didn't see him shaking up much on Walnut's defensive drive. I don't know what that could be. Walnut will go to a bunch formation. Rivers will go under center. Lures in motion. He hands it to him. No, it's up the middle. Give him about 4 yards. A big hit delivered up the middle. Marley Claiborne was on that run, the backup quarterback. That's his first snap as a varsity Eagle, and it gains 5 to bring up second down and medium. First action for Claiborne. Didn't even see him come out of the field as an extra running back alongside Dennis. Now Hargis will enter the game. Walnut will remain under center and bunched up tight. Rivers again under center. Lures in motion. Rivers will hand it off, but whistle will blow play dead. Can't see any flag on the field, but looks like it's good news for Walnut. Penalty going against Milford, and it'll be a gain of 5. Encroachment. That'll bring up second and very, very short. Actually, no, scratch that. It's first down. Referee announcing the penalty said it was first down. Walnut will stay under center. Didn't see this look very much last week, but they're still bunched in tight. Lures goes in motion. It's a handoff up the middle, and the ball is loose and on the ground. Picked up by Milford, and it's their football. That is not how Zaire Anderson hoped that play would go, as the very short handoff was botched between Rivers and who appeared to be Xander Hargis. And Walnut coughs it up for the first time this game. We saw that be their only turnover last week, where Robert Green and Will Rivers had a miscommunication on a handoff, led to a turnover in the red zone. This one will put Milford back at the Walnut 25, poised to go up 2 scores. Zion Randall the back, Bodley back to pass. He'll throw it right side, and it's caught by Joey Dahmer, and he'll skate his way to the 15 for a first down and taken out about the 13 by Dayron Acklin. Not much difficulty on that throw by Bodley to Dahmer. Gain of 12 on a first down for Milford.
First and 10 at the 13-yard line.
And we'll see Walnut talked that over. Rivers has still not really been given a chance to throw it downfield like he was doing a lot in the West High game. Snap to Bodley, back to pass. Bodley throws it left side for David Kitchell. Catches to the 10. Kitchell catches to 10, make a man miss. Coulibaly will make a nice open field tackle. Forces Kitchell back to the 15. And then takes him down with the help of his teammates. We'll see what forward progress Kitchell gets. He will not get very much. They'll actually back him up to the 14. So all credit to Coulibaly there for a nice tackle. Brings up second down and 11. Milford still poised to go up by 2 scores. Jackson Hopkins was the back for the first drive. Now it's going to be Zion Randall, who had 5 carries for 7 yards against Withrow. Second and 11. Snap directly goes to Randall, running left side. Randall takes to the 10 to the 5, and he's taken down shy of the goal line. Flag thrown behind the play, the 16. We'll see if that brings this one back. It looks like David Kittrell on the outside might have been holding a bit. We'll see what happens here. It looks like this one's coming back. See if my hunch was right. And it is David Kittrell, number 3, called for the holding. That will back Milford up a good 10 yards. Second down and 21 now coming up. Joey Dahmer beat Braylon Dennis in their first matchup. Dennis still alone, pretty much on an island out to the right side. Second down and 21. Bodley back to pass. Bodley throws it left side. His receiver's got a step, and it's caught for the Milford touchdown. Caleb Brazington got past Xander Hargis and hauls in a 24-yard touchdown pass for Milford. First career touchdown catch for Caleb Brazington, and Milford quarterback Jaden Bodley's got his first 2 career touchdowns here in quarter number 1. Talked about earlier, the Walnut outside defenders were not tested all that much, given how much West High's Omari Beck like to throw it over the middle. Bodley has gone right after them and has found success. Tyler McQueen for the extra point to make it 14-0. Low snap, and the kick is up, and it is good. 14-0. Milford leads here early. $1:49 to go, first quarter. Milford has scored on both their offensive drives. And if you're Jaden Bodley and these Milford offensive coaches, this is exactly what you want to see. Your quarterback in a rough game against a really, really good defense out there in Withrow has not been afraid to push it down the field, and he's delivered some accurate passes to get Milford up 14-0 early. Walnut's tries to end with a punt and a fumble. This is when you just kind of want a long drive to take the hands out of this red-hot Milford offense. Give J.R. Allen and your defensive coaches time to figure out something to stop this Milford attack. Walnut's field position for the first 2 drives has not been good. A good kick from McQueen the first time, and a penalty the second time. Here McQueen will drive it inside the 10, caught by Dennis, where he'll return it out to the 15, to the 20, skates right side to the 30. Dennis is going to be taken down just shy of the 35, a decent return, and Jake Dixon on the tackle. That'll be better field position for the Eagles. And let's see what they have planned here. Walnut has tried to incorporate the run a lot in this first half. Milford's run defense has been able to be breached by strong rushing offenses dating back to that West Claremont game from last year. Jonathan Jackson Jr. is the back again, and Walnut will stay in that heavy set formation. Braylon Coleman is one of 2 players off the line to the right side. Rivers under center. He takes the snap, hands Jackson, trying to breach the right side. He will get a couple of yards, get to about the 39-yard line. taken down by a pile of Eagles. At the bottom of that pile, Jake Dixon. Dixon, a senior linebacker, over 100 tackles last year. 8 tackles, a sack, and a TFL last week against that stout Withrow offense. About 3.5 for Jackson. Walnut still in that heavy set, not many on the line. Rivers takes the snap. He runs it right side. This is Jason Nicholas direct snap. Nicholas will run for about 4 or 5, gets to about the 44-yard line. Rivers was not on the field for that snap. He is standing on the sideline next to the down marker. Nicholas did not get as much as I thought. He got to the 41. Brings up about 3rd and about 4. Rivers staying on the sideline. Walnut's come out with a very different approach. Jason Nicholas is still the quarterback. 3rd down and 4. Both teams loading the box. Snap to Nicholas. He will take the direct snap left side, trying to cut it back right side, trying to bounce off low, and he'll get taken down about 1.5 yards shy of the line to gain. That tackle made by Isaiah Carranza, senior defensive back. And on 4th and 2, we'll see what Walnut will do. I cannot imagine that they're going to send Colin Ross out here. They want to extend this drive. They'll have an entire quarter to think about it as we've reached the end of the first quarter. Score after 1 is Milford 14 and Walnut 0 here at Milford Eagles Stadium.
It is beneath your home's goal to support you through every step of your funeral planning and to pay tribute to the special memory of your loved one. Being a family-owned and operated funeral home with an on-site crematory and funeral home professional and caring staff take pride in providing high-quality and affordable funeral services that meet the needs of your family. The Keith Funeral Home is proud to be a proud package sponsor of the Please visit keithfuneralhome.com for full information. Watering for today's world. Home Electric is your local trusted electrical contractor for any electrical project. Any sports band attendance today from Call Electric. And receive $35 off any service call. Call Electric is proud to be a sponsor of Milford Eagles and a member of the community since 1990.
We get a second quarter of play. Walnut bringing out their punt team on 4th and 2. Milford looking very punt safe here, wary of the fake. And now we got a timeout called by the Eagles to rethink this. Maybe just wanted to see what kind of personnel Milford would bring onto the field to see if they could get away with something on this 4th down and 2. Milford has scored on both their drives so far. 2 touchdown passes thrown by Jaden Bodley. Joey Dahmer and Caleb Brazington on the 2 touchdown catches. And you don't really want to give this red-hot Milford offense the ball without a fight. And this will be... They're going to go back to that offense. It's still the heavy set, and Will Rivers is still not on the field for the 3rd straight offensive snap. It's 4th down and 2. Walnut was able to generate that amount of yards on each of the last 2 plays with Jason Nicholas at quarterback. They'll be trying that again here. We'll see what happens. Play clock down to 4. Snap to Nicholas. He'll run it directly left side, and he will be bottled up and stopped well short of the 1st down. Chase Gale and Isaiah Carranza shot the gap and stopped that running play in its tracks. Turnover on downs for the Eagles offense. Choosing to take Will Rivers off the field and run that same Wildcat run on 3 straight plays does not work out. That play actually had a loss of 1. Will set the Milford offense up for their 3rd drive in plus territory. Just very peculiar formations that we had not seen before that last couple of drives. Jaden Bodley out for his third drive. He's thrown touchdown passes on the first two, and he's back to pass here. Bodley under big pressure, goes across the middle, and it's low, and it is... Let's see. It was Carson Long, and he did, and he made the catch. He went low to the ground, a 13-yard completion to Long. Very close call. Whether or not that ball hit the ground, they call it a catch and a 13-yard gain. Jaden Bodley continues his hot first half. 11:39 to go, second quarter. Milford 14, Walnut 0. Bodley flanked by Hopkins. He will hand it on a counter play, which Hopkins cuts back to the 21. That's where he's taken down by Eli Newman. Gain of 8. Nice play design by Tom Grippa. He had Bodley running left side and handed it across his body to Hopkins, who ran the other direction. And Eli Newman saved a lot of yards. Second and 2 at the 21. 2 receivers each side for Milford. Hopkins off of Bodley's left hip. Snap to Bodley. He's back to pass. Bodley got time, throws across the middle, and it's incomplete off the hands of Caleb Brazington, who would have had a walk-in touchdown had he made that catch. Fitting in between a hole, Hargis and Jackson, who are playing further back in coverage. Brazington managed to get in between, but couldn't complete the catch. Brings up third down and short. Milford 1 for 2 on third downs thus far, 1 for 1 on fourth downs. Bodley back to pass. Quick toss going right side for Dahmer, who releases and makes a nice toe tap catch inside the 15, down about the 10. Give Dahmer another 10 yards, and it's first and 10. First and goal from the 10-yard line. Third down and 2. Dennis was playing off coverage. Bodley knew exactly where he was going with that football the entire way. Now they're in the red zone again. Snap to Bodley. Back to pass. He's got time. Throws short left side. Caught by Brazington. Taken down after almost no gain. Cam Coulibaly wrapped him up. Threw it to the flat, but Walnut was ready for it. Brings up second down and long. No gain for Brazington.
No gain on the play. Second and goal from the 10-yard line. Good.
Second and goal. 3 receivers right, 1 left. Jaden Bodley has thrown it plenty this drive. He's going back to the air here. Throws it right side, and it is wide and off the hands of Joey Dahmer. Walnut DBs Braylon Dennis and Cam Coulibaly did a good job of keeping Dahmer covered this time. That'll bring up third down and long. 9:50 to play, second quarter. Milford has scored in their first 2 drives. Walnut has not scored in any of their first 3. Same formation here. Walnut looking for the stop. Bodley throws it back there. A screen pass. High catch made, but right there, Xander Hargis to drop Jackson Hopkins for a loss. Beautiful read by Hargis to snuff out that screen pass on that up-tempo play by the Milford offense. That'll bring out fourth down and goal from the 11, and Milford will send their field goal team. Eagle DB room hunkered down after Bodley's been dicing them up all game. They hunker down and get a couple of good tackles. Going to be a 29-yard try for Tyler McQueen. McQueen handles both punts and kicks. He's made both extra points today. This will be his first career field goal attempt. From 29. Snap good, hold good, kick is up, and it is wobbling just enough to get through the uprights. It is good. First career attempt for McQueen, just has enough juice to get the necessary 29 yards, and that gives Milford a 17-0 lead here in quarter number 2. Well, color me impressed with the way that Walnut's defense is starting to adapt. There were some plays that seemed like their film study had paid off, and they were able to read some plays, some wrinkles from Tom Grippa's offense. See if the offense can pick up the slack here. It's been 3 drives so far for the Eagles, and they have ended with a punt, a fumble, and a turnover on downs. All of last drive, Walnut was in that heavy set formation. For the last 3 plays, they took Will Rivers off the field and ran Wildcat with Jason Nicholas. Rivers threw for 303 yards last week. McQueen approaches the ball, and a whistle will stop play before the kick even reaches. He got to about the 16. We'll see what happens there. Procedural pointing Walnut.
Not enough men on the line.
Illegal procedure against Walnut. 5-yard penalty. Puts the ball at the 45. Second penalty we've seen on a kickoff. Milford has kicked it off 4 times. McQueen was able to send that one about 44 yards in the air. His kickoffs have generally been solid. Only got to do it once last time. Now it's going to be his 4th kickoff. Ball on the big red M at the 45-yard line. McQueen approaches the ball, kicks it with his right foot. Good hang time, but it gets to only about the 20, and Jason Nicholas will grab it and falls forward for a couple. Nicholas was having trouble with Alex Lee. Couldn't think of who was supposed to get that ball. They'll be down inside the 25. And Will Rivers is still not out there. It's still going to be Jason Nicholas, but taking both Rivers and Malachi Lures off the field. I'm just not sure if there's an injury going on or what's happening here, but this just does not look normal from what we've seen from this spread-out team usually. Same heavy set formation. Now Jonathan Jackson is the one receiving the snap. He fumbles it, but a flag will blow the play dead before he can pick it up. Another false start brings Walnut back to their own 18. I just am not very sure what this is supposed to accomplish. So 1st down and 15 now from the 20. Direct snap to Jackson. He'll take it up the middle, push forward, and still on his feet. Jackson to about the 30. Fights forward to the 31. 11-yard pickup for Jonathan Jackson Jr. Should be, if I'm not wrong, his longest career run. Braylon Dennis will now enter, replacing Jackson. Have not seen Rivers, have not seen Lures. 2nd and 4 from the 31. Direct snap to Braylon Dennis. He'll take it right side. He has to get past a couple defenders. He spins forward. He'll have the 1st down at the 36.
Number 2, Braylon Dennis, the ball carrier, brought down by number 4, Jensen Davis.
Jensen Davis, the tackle, senior defensive back for Milford. 1st down for Walnut, their 2nd of the game.
It'll be 1st and 10, Walnut Hills in their own 36-yard line.
We have seen nothing but this wildcat formation without a quarterback Everybody's been on the line. 3 men off to the right. And that little shield has stayed consistent. Stevie Gordon, Aiden Menez. Snap to Dennis running right side. Makes a cut back toward the middle. He will be lucky to get after the line of scrimmage. Hunted down from behind by David Kittrell. Second down and 10. The shield for Walnut, composed of Aiden Menez, Mason Jones, and Nathan Neguse. Braylon Dennis, the Wildcat quarterback for this second down and 10 play. He takes it, runs it left side, got some blocks this time. Dennis skirting left side of the 40, falls forward to about the 45. He'll be about a yard shy of the line to gain. The ball so far has not gone to anyone but that Wildcat quarterback. That time he was able to follow his blocks really well for a solid gain of 8. We'll see if and when this formation ends. Aiden Menez now hurrying off the field. Jonathan Jackson Jr. is the Wildcat QB this time. Third down and 2. Midway through the second quarter, Milford 17, Walnut nothing. High snap over the head of Jackson. He's got to chase down 5 Milford defenders to the ball, and he will lose the race. David Kittrell will fall on it. Inside the Walnut 20. That was just well over the head of Jackson. He had no chance to ever get to that football. And I think regardless of whether that was a Wildcat snap or a shotgun snap or even a punt snap, that play may have had the same result. Milford back down inside the Walnut 20. They've started all but one drive in plus territory. And they've scored on all 3 of them. Zion Randall the back to the right of Jaden Bodley for Milford. First and 10 from the Walnut 18. Snap to Bodley, hands Randall running up the middle. Randall breaks through a hole to the 10, taken down at the 7-yard line by Cam Coulibaly. Successful run for Randall on a first down for Milford.
On the tackle, number 5, Cam Coulibaly.
We've called Coulibaly's name a lot so far, especially in this second quarter. Milford will go heavy for this play. And a direct snap taken by Jake Dixon. He has to dodge a tackler, and he'll get barely back to the line of scrimmage. A big hit put on him by Jonathan Jackson Jr. Milford trying some Wildcat of their own. That one goes for a loss. Eli Newman slowed Dixon down considerably. They're going to go the same formation here. Jake Dixon, again the Wildcat, takes it up the middle. Dixon cuts it right side to the 5, fights forward and gets into the end zone for a Milford touchdown. Jake Dixon, notably played linebacker at a very high level for Milford, gets his first career touchdown on the ground and makes it a 23-0 Milford lead. McQueen on for the extra point. That is now 3 touchdowns and 4 drives for the Eagles. They have been held by supreme starting field position in every one of them. Snap is good, hold is good. Kick by McQueen is up, and it splits the uprights to make it 24-0 in Milford's favor. Milford looking good to extend their 4-game winning streak over the Eagles. And they have won all 4 of those games by at least 26 points. Will Rivers with his helmet off on the sideline, and I just cannot figure out what the plan was here. This team that put on a show through the air against West High. Malachi Lures last week, 138 yards. Jason Nicholas and Kalen Murray also went over 70. And now just going full Wildcat. McQueen on for the Milford kickoff. Gets it in the air. It's a good line drive kick. It'll be over the head of Dennis. It'll bounce back toward the field of play. It's a live ball. Dennis has to recover it. He's got some room to run on the right side. Touch the sideline to the 20. Taken out of bounds just shy of the 30 by sophomore Riker Watson for Milford. And it looks like... Nope, spoke too soon. It'll be the Wildcat. Let's see. Okay, no Wildcat. Rivers and Lures will come back out there. Did not see them at all on that last drive. They end with a second fumble of the day for Walnut. That caused by a bad snap by Nolman. Marley Claiborne is also out there. But finally, Walnut will send out some receivers, two each side. Claiborne, the running back. We've seen two different backs today, maybe three if you count Hargis. Claiborne is another one. Snap to Rivers. Quick toss goes right side, and probably good that was a bad throw, as Jason Nicholas was covered well by Isaiah Carranza, senior DB for Milford. They still have not really let him try to air this ball out. Same formation here. Marley Claiborne still the running back. Wonder if wanted to have some kind of direct snap ready for him. Snap to Rivers. He's under pressure immediately. Skates through the pocket. Tosses sidearm, and it's well incomplete. Looks like he was going for Lowell Mesfin, who was headed back to the sideline. Again, throwing at Isaiah Carranza. Mesfin ran a different route than the one Rivers was expecting him to get on that sidearm delivery. Zymir Taylor, senior defensive lineman, was putting pressure on Rivers up the middle. 24-0. Milford offense has scored on all four drives. And a timeout called by the officials. It's career start number 18 for Will Rivers, but Mount County only has one pass completion. He had a completion percentage under 50% last week, but Walnut almost never ran the ball against the Mustangs. And is there like a sick official? The officials and a couple of other faces like the trainers are all hunched up around the 30-yard line. Milford's student section's erupting right now. As we said, it's a very dedicated group of fans, especially for their ECC home opener. So it may have been somebody getting dehydrated? Can't really tell from up here. Walnut's four drives have ended with a punt, a turnover on downs, and two fumbles. 3rd down and 10. It's been two Pretty weak balls from Rivers so far on this drive. Probably, and great coverage from the Milford DBs, especially Isaiah Carranza. Pretty light box here on 3rd and 10. Snap to Rivers. Got time to throw. Loves across the middle. Caught by Malachi Lewis at the 41. That'll be enough for a Walnut first down as Malachi Lewis is back on the board. Converting 3rd and 10. Gain of 12 down to the Walnut 42. And that's what you want to see here if you're Walnut. Just offensive line holding up, giving Rivers time to find a guy downfield. Now Claiborne behind Rivers, 2 receivers each side. Snap to Rivers. He's back to pass. Got time. He rolls out toward the right, throws it short for Lures, and it's inaccurate and off his hands. It was a little bit behind Lures' smooth route, but that would have been a couple, maybe another first down if Lures was able to hold that in anyway. 2 straight solid pass blocking routes by the offensive line. As Walnut's kind of just been working on stuff here. Same formation. Rivers now to the right of Claiborne. Lures goes in motion right to left. Snap to Rivers. He'll run it left side, throw it for Lures again. This time he makes the catch, but he's bottled up and stopped. The big hit delivered by David Kittrell. Gain of 4 for Lures to the 46-yard line, and it's 3rd down and 6. After the botched first down play, Walnut wanted to get Lures the ball back. His second catch. Lures had 7 catches for 138 yards last week. That ties Ty Austin against Little Miami last year for the most in an Eagles game since 2023. Snap to Rivers. Pressure up the middle. Big block by Claiborne. Launches it downfield for Lures, and it is incomplete. Lures kind of had to play DB as Gavin Whiteloff, senior offensive back, had gotten in front of him. Lures kind of had to throw a hand up and break up the pass. It was a little over his head. Great coverage by Whiteloff, and the Eagles had to punt it away. 3:46 second quarter clock. It is 24-0 Milford. They have scored on all 4 drives. Colin Ross on for his second punt of the day. Averaged 32 yards a punt last week. And a whistle will stop play before the punt. Timeout called by Walnut. We saw this last time. Colin Ross came on for the punt. The Eagles then sent their offense back out there, and that was the Wildcat offense. They failed to convert 4th and 2. It'd be a bit silly just to call a punt to call a timeout just to get a better punt formation. That appears to be what's going on here. Colin Ross hit some pretty good ones, hit some pretty good punts back in warm-ups, actually. He's standing at his own 33, and 2 Milford returners are standing just shy of their own 30, and a Milford player just jumped off sides. It was kind of a hard count on the punt. It was Jake Dixon who jumped off sides. That'll put Walnut at 4th and 1. We'll see if that changes the calculus at all. Will Rivers and Malachi Lewis putting their helmet back on. We'll have to get a play in quickly, and yeah, here comes the offense. The play clock is already running, down from 40 seconds. Can't take any delay. 28 seconds. Will Rivers is not coming out here, so this is going to be the Wildcat again. 23 seconds. 20 seconds. Last player rushes onto the field for Walnut. That's Jaden Miller. 12 seconds on the play clock. Jonathan Jackson lining up as the Wildcat. on 4th and 1 from the Milford 47. 5 on the play clock. Got to get this play off, and a whistle will stop play. Timeout called by Milford. There may be like a specific personnel group they want to use to defend that Wildcat run that Walnut used for a good portion of their 3rd and 4th drives. 3:46 to play, and the offside penalty on Jake Dixon gives Walnut 4th and makeable. Looks like this play will be Wildcat no matter what, considering the personnel in the huddle does not include Will Rivers, who is currently getting a talking to, encouragingly so, from Coach Miles. And the Walnut offense is going to basically say, I think we can get this yard against your line. One of the weaker run defenses in the ECC. Jonathan Jackson, the Wildcat QB. 4th down and 1. Takes the snap, runs it straight at the middle. He's got the first down. And a bit more about the 45-yard line. And the offside penalty costly for Milford as it keeps the Walnut offense on the field. Jonathan Jackson Jr., successful run out of the Wildcat. Walnut trying to get a score before halftime. Be the first time they've done that in a game against Milford since 2019. Marley Claiborne back out there. Clock's running under 3.5 minutes. Ball at the 46. It was a gain of 3 for Jackson. 2 receivers each side. Marley Claiborne off Rivers' right hip. Snap to Rivers. He will hand Lewis on an end around. Lewis has to turn the corner. Gets to the corner to the 40, and he's taken out of bounds hard by the collar on David Kittrell. Doesn't look like we're going to see any laundry. David Kittrell. And I just heard a scream from behind me in the press box. Gain of 5 for Lewis. And tough break on that tackle by Kittrell, not getting any penalty yardage. Pick up a 5, 2nd down and 5. Malachi Lewis looking like a weapon with his speed early. 6 in the line this time for Walnut. Snap to Rivers. He will hand Jackson running right side. Has to shed a tackle. Fights forward for a gain of about 3. Penetrating the backfield immediately was Gavin Whitelock, who we saw in that good defense. Jonathan Jackson. Slow to get up, but he does eventually go there. Gain of him 3. 3rd and 2. Wonder if Walnut goes back to the Wildcat here. Rivers staying out there. 2 minutes 39 on the second quarter clock. Walnut looking to keep this drive moving after the 4th and 1 conversion by Jackson. Jackson sets up to the left of Rivers. 3 receivers right and 1 left. Snap to Rivers. He will keep it. Running right side. Got room to run. Rivers to the 35, to the 30, and runs out of bounds with the first down. Good blocking on the right side of that offensive line. You got Aiden Menaze and Jason Nicholas also good blocking down there at the wide receiver position. 1st down Eagles. To the deepest they've been in Milford territory all day. A gain of 7 for Rivers. 2:17 to go in the first half. It's 24-0 Milford. They had the running clock on right out of the half last year. Sixth in the line for the Eagles. Jackson behind Rivers, so go in motion. Rivers back to pass, looks left. Now he'll run left. Got to evade some pressure, just throws it away. Out of bounds. Was he in the tackle box? And it looks like everything's good. As right there to pressure Rivers was Elijah March Horston, sophomore defensive lineman for Milford, who got in Rivers' face right away and stopped him from making any reads. That'll bring up 2nd down and 10. Clock stopped at 2:17. Now Walnut will spread it out. 3 receivers left, 1 right. Lewis goes in motion left to right. Snap to Rivers, back to pass. Throws it left side for Nicholas. Makes the catch at the 30, and he will not get anywhere, as bringing him down on the hot pursuit was defensive back Chase Gale. Gain of 1 for Nicholas. It'll bring up 3rd and long. Actually, don't give him anything. They don't even give him the 30-yard line, so it's going to be 3rd down and 10. Clock running under 2 minutes, 1:45 to go here at Milford Eagles Stadium. Milford's got 2 timeouts to work with. Play clock down to 12. 3 receivers to the wide side, 1 to the short side. That's Kalen Murray, who's here to make a catch today. Snap to Rivers, back to pass. Rivers got time, now running out of time, running to the right side. Rivers, he'll just scramble. Rivers to the, no, he throws it then. Caught at the 5 by Malachi Lewis, runs it into the end zone. Touchdown, Eagles! Malachi Lewis, Rivers may have thrown it beyond the line of scrimmage with a flag back down at the 36. Rivers right there at the 30-yard line of scrimmage where he threw it. And it may be deemed that he was beyond the line of scrimmage when he threw that football to Lewis. Nope, it's just holding. Holding on Jonathan Jackson Jr. So wipe that 31-yard catch by Lewis off the board. It's a good rep from Rivers, extending the play, finding time. That does not make it feel any better. That'll back out to the 41-yard line. 31 is the deepest the Eagles have gotten in Milford territory all game. 1:13 to play in the first half. 6 men on the line. Xander Hargis will enter the game in place of Jackson, who just got that holding penalty. Snap to Rivers. Back to pass, got time, looks right, looks left, goes back to the right side, and it is intercepted. It's picked off there by Chase Gale, who was covering Malachi Lewis. The ball was well underthrown by Rivers, and Chase Gale comes up with Milford for the INT. First career interception for the junior defensive back, Chase Gale. Lewis was in one-on-one coverage down there on the right sideline. Gale was able to release from coverage and track that underthrown ball by Rivers. His 22nd career interception, his first of 2025. 1:07 left to go in the first half. Milford with 2 timeouts to work with. Their worst starting field position of the day is their own 22-yard line. As that 4th and 1 conversion ultimately bought Walnut some time off the clock, but did not convert into points. Jaden Bodley back out there. He's thrown 2 touchdowns already today. Snap to Bodley, he's back to pass. Steps up in the pocket, throws it deep, and it is picked. Oh, it drops. It was high. Braylon Dennis had a good shot at an interception there, but he couldn't haul it in. He was going for Joey Dahmer deep downfield. Braylon Dennis is cursing himself. That was not an easy catch to make, but you never want to drop an INT like that. 2nd down and 10 for Milford at their own 21. Milford has scored on all 4 of their drives this half. Walnut's coughed it up 3 times. Snap to Bodley. Looks long, throws it deep downfield. This time, it is not caught. It was a little overthrown. Carson Long was the intended target. Bodley had him in stride about 25 yards down the field, but it was just underthrown. That'll bring up 3rd and 10. Bodley has still not been afraid to push the ball down the field. And Kamar Powell hurrying off the field before this snap. Just gets off the field. Bodley rolls right. Bodley sets up, throws it long, and this time it's dropped. It's dropped by Joey Dahmer. He had the first down at the 34, and that will be the 3rd straight incompletion for Jaden Bodley. That'll force a punt. First time today, Walnut has gotten a stop on defense, and now they'll have to deal with who Milford's best player was last week, Tyler McQueen. Averaged nearly 50 yards per punt on his 4 punts against Withrow. Braylon Dennis back to return. He's respecting the Queen a lot, standing behind the Walnut 45. Milford only ran 16 seconds off the clock on that 3 and out. 51 seconds to play, first half. McQueen back there to punt. He gets the snap. He boots it. It's a pretty good punt. Dennis will step forward, get it at the 44 of Walnut, moves to the 50, cuts right side to the 47. Not till he gets David Kitcher on the tackle. Walnut will start this next drive in plus territory. Walnut's 5 drives so far, 3 turnovers, 2 fumbles in the INT by Rivers' last drive, a turnover on downs, and a punt. That was the first time that Walnuts managed to get Tyler McQueen to punt the ball away. I'd say they need about 25 yards and he's 43 seconds for field goal range. They have 1 timeout. Rivers has not been able to push the ball downfield so far. Last time he tried, he got picked off. 1st and 10, 2 receivers each side. Snap to Rivers. He's got time, goes over the middle, off the hands of Lewers, and then it's diving and dropped. Lewers had it go off his hands, and then it went into harm's way. Nolan Birch, defensive back, make that a Beck Williams. Had a chance to tip that in the air to himself and pick it off, but it went just over his head. Was an accurate ball from Rivers. He made a good decision, just couldn't get the catch. 2nd down and 10, now 36 seconds left in this first half. Jonathan Jackson is the back. 2 receivers each side. Jackson standing behind Rivers. Snap to Rivers. Quick toss goes right side, and it's off the hands of Mesfin before a big hit put on him by Isaiah Carranza, who has pretty much done his job every time Walnut's thrown at him. That'll bring up 3rd and long. Isaiah Carranza, 2 career interceptions, 9 career passes defended. That number will be increased now after this game. 3rd down and 10, 29 seconds to go, first half. Walnut's got it to the Milford 47, looking to avoid a 3 and out. Snap to Rivers, blitz is on. Rivers pumps once, now runs out, getting dragged down, and his helmet gets ripped off, and then he gets taken down. Santino Dominguez, sophomore linebacker, on the sack, ripped off Will Rivers' helmet, and it looks like Tom Gribber will not call his timeout here and let this clock run to 0. Make that Parker Mott, not Santino Dominguez, wearing number 56. And that'll be the end of the first half. At the end of the first half, it is 24-0. Milford, a strong opening as the Walnut offense just could not get their way to start this Week 2 ECC home opener. Milford 24, Walnut 0. We'll be back with first half stats and scores from around the city when we come back on Grand Sportscasting Channel.
Big round of applause for your Milford dance team. And now, welcome to the field, your Milford Eagles cheerleaders. Big round of applause for your Milford Eagles cheerleaders. Speaking with the games in timeout, there's a large number of high school, college, and pro athletes in the tri-state area. From surgery to physical therapy, to orthopedic treatment care, and retirement, and injury claims, our specialists will get you back in the game on your schedule. Thank you to our medical director, Dr. Glenn Plum, certified athletic trainers Ashley Costa, Andrew Edmondson, and Manny Wolf for their amazing services to our student athletes and the community. Whether it's a game of life or on the field, Beacon Orthopedics and Rhinehealth are your healthcare partners through it all. Visit beaconortho.com and rhinehealth.com for more details on how they can help you. All Africans watching you participate in our Ladies and gentlemen, please direct your attention to the field. We'd like to take this opportunity to recognize our fall sports team, starting with freshman football, coached by Austin Harden, assisted by Taylor Allen, Lucas Bowling, Tyrell Franklin, and Joe Ripa. Next, we have girls golf, coached by Leona Lapis. Girls golf, coached by Leona Lapis. Following the girls will be boys ball, coached by Andy Horn and Brad Greenwell. Up next is girls tennis, coached by Michael Nipperman and assisted by Howard Jimenez, JT Blair, and our JV head coach is Tim Pope. Up next, we have girls cross country led by coach Matt Jordan, assisted by Nancy Figueroa. Following girls of the boys cross country team led by coach Joe DeMont, assisted by Chase Easterly.
It's slow.
Coming to the field next is our girls JVP volleyball team, coached by Peyton Tierney. JVA girls volleyball is up next.
Welcome back to Walnut Hills Football and Graham Sportscasting Channel. We're at the break. It is Milford 24 and Walnut Hills 0. Time now for first half stats from Colon Electric Milford Eagles Stadium. For Walnut, Will Rivers 4 of 12 for 21 yards and an interception. It wasn't a great half for him, but he was subbed out midway through for a handful of plays, and Walnut went almost fully Wildcat. Walnut with 10 rushing attempts for 47 yards, 5 by Jonathan Jackson Jr., 25. Walnut's leading receiver is Malachi Lewis, 2 catches for 16 yards, and their leading tackler is Jonathan Jackson Jr. and Eli Newman, each with 5, and each splitting half a tackle for loss. For Milford, Jaden Bodley is already 4 yards shy of a career high in passing yards. He's 9 of 15, 92 yards, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions. Milford has run it 10 times for 44 yards, led by Jackson Hopkins, 6 carries for 22. Their leading receiver is Caleb Brasington, 3 carries for 47 yards. Leading tackler David Kittrell, Chase Gale, and Jake Dixon with 4 each. Scores from around the city in the most hotly anticipated ECC battle of perhaps the entire year. It is Winton Woods and Kings tied at 7 at halftime. Anderson beating up West Claremont 28-0 at halftime. Loveland, perhaps surprisingly, ahead of Lebanon 22-7. Turpin and Little Miami tied at 7 midway through the second quarter. Over in the GMC, it's Princeton 7, Coleraine 0 midway through the second quarter. We do not have a score for you on Oak Hills and Lakota East. West ahead of Mason 14-7. Middletown ahead of Fairfield 19-0. Hamilton ahead of Sycamore 17-0. GCL South, Elder ahead of Covcath 14-6. LaSalle ahead of Northmont 24-0. St. Xavier ahead of Centerville 17-0. A good day for that conference. And not much score from the CMAC for you, but Alter was ahead of Taft 13-7 in the early second quarter last we checked. Western Hills getting beaten up by Roger Bacon. That is 35-0. in the second at halftime. In a few minutes, we're back with second half action from Milford Eagles Stadium. This is Walnut Hills football on Graham Sportscasting Channel.
Please welcome girls JV soccer in the field, coached by John Satterfield, assisted by Helen Norton. Following JV, we have our JV girls soccer team, coached by Billy Hall, assisted by Caitlin Norton. Now let's welcome our varsity girls soccer team to the field, coached by Jill Helms, assisted by Larry Hudson. Running to the field now is our dance team, coached by Brittany Fail. Up next is our freshman cheer squad, coached by Morley Smith. Following the freshman is our JV cheer team, coached by Lynn Hall. Next up, we have our varsity cheer squad, coached by Stacey Vernon. And last but not least, we have girls water polo, coached by Paul Smith. We would like to wish all our sports team goodbye. And we're bringing for you all season long.
We do have one additional score that we didn't get to report earlier. Withrow is ahead of Chaminade Julian, 28-7. That game in the mid-third quarter. Withrow, I mean, I guess we're going to spend some time talking about them. They're just so revitalized. They lost in the first round of the Region 8 playoffs to Kings last year, 10-0. That Kings had a stifling defense, but now Withrow is just clicking on every front. As far as we can see, they blew out Milford last week, and Milford does not look like a bad team from what I've seen in the first half of this game. Of course, they're playing Walnut, but Milford has been accurate. They've been decisive. They haven't made very many mistakes, and Withrow went to town on them last week. And so you start to ask yourself if it's like if Walnut can replicate that at some point. If a CPS school can get as high as Withrow has, is there something else blocking Walnut from getting to that spot? Withrow had only made three playoff appearances in franchise history before the pandemic. They're all but going to make a fifth straight appearance this coming November, and likely make some waves in the playoff with how they've looked in their first couple of games. Just, what does it take to get warm for that spot? Both teams back onto the field right now, about a couple minutes before the second half is slated to begin. Milford had 5 drives in the first half and scored on 4 of them. The other one was their 2-minute drill where they had a couple drops, and that resulted in a 3-and-out. 3 incompletions by Jaden Bodley. Bodley needs just 4 more passing yards to reach his career high, which he set last week against Withrow in his first career start. This is number 2. Needs 8 more passing yards to get his first career 100-yard game. And I'd imagine that it may not be more than that, considering that we're only 1 Milford TD away from the running clock being turned on, and that will likely end many of the starters' days. Milford keeps 3 QBs in their roster. Junior Bodley, sophomore Chase Whitehouse, and freshman Aiden Wareham. Walnut also keeps 3 QBs in their roster, but we have seen number 2 Marley Claiborne playing at running back in this game. QB number 3 is Josh Reed, the freshman who we saw leading the receivers through their warm-up drills. Milford will get ball first in the second half after winning the toss and deferring. Walnut unable to score in any of their 6 drives. It went punt, fumble, turnover on downs, fumble, interception, and the end of the half, which would have been another punt, had that drive continued. It'll be the first time Walnut's kicking off this game. We saw them convert an onside kick last week, and we saw them convert an onside kick on the first play of their bout with Milford last year. And they successfully managed to steal a possession on that play. Connor Breen will see his first action as the kickoff man. 2 Milford players back deep to receive. Carson Long and Joey Dahmer. And we'll see Dahmer again when Walnut and Milford play in basketball this year. Dahmer is a mainstay on that basketball squad that's been around the middle of the pack to the bottom in the ECC each of the past 2 years. 24-0 as your scores begin the third quarter of play. Connor Breen approaches the ball, kicks it low with his right foot, bounces to about the 20 where it's fielded by an up man to the 30, moves forward to the 35, long gets to about the 40, spins out of a tackle, gets to the 43. That's where he's taken down by Joshua Thornton, defensive back. Solid start for Milford once again. We'll see what the personnel looks like. I would imagine that it'll be Bodley and the starters until the running clock turns on, if it does. And that does appear to be what it is. Jackson Hopkins is the back. It's still most of the Milford starters facing off against Walnut's ones. Two receivers each side, and Jaden Bodley will hand it off to Jackson Hopkins up the middle. Hopkins breaks the first wave and gets about 6 before being taken down by Eli Newman right at the midfield stripe. Newman was Walnut's leading tackler again in the West High game, piled up 11 tackles. It'll bring up second down and medium. Milford has gone up tempo for much of the game. Look, won't change. He's already ready for the next snap. Bodley will hand it left side for Hopkins, sweeping around, and he will get nowhere. Gets back to the line of scrimmage and nothing more. Taken down by Jonathan Jackson Jr., junior linebacker. Brings up third down.
No, 10 on play, third down, number 4. 2 minutes remaining in the game. 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 2 minutes remaining in the game
Joey Dahmer's been the receiver that stood out to me the most for Milford today. He is on the right side against Braylon Dennis. And Carson Long breaks toward the middle. It's into the throw to the left side, and it is batted away. That was Jensen Davis on the defensive back pretty much, as Dayron Acklam came over there. Brings up fourth down. We'll see what Tom Gribbett has to do here. Milford was 1 for 1 on fourth downs in the first half. This is fourth down and 4. It'll be the offense. They'll get their play call. 2 receivers each side. Big chance for a stop of the Walnut defense on Milford's first drive of the third quarter. Stops, look to the sideline. Play clock's at 16. Plenty of time for Jaden Bodley and the Milford offense on fourth down and 4. Could also be a hard count. Snap to Bodley. Back to pass. Bodley throws it back there, and it is going to be taken down short. Jensen Davis was read by Joshua Thornton, and Walnut gets the turnover on downs. The second time Milford's tried that throwback earlier, and both times it's gone for nothing. That time was Cam Coulibaly making the stop. This time it's Joshua Thornton bringing down Jensen Davis short of the line to gain. Milford comes up empty on their first drive. That'll bring out Wilmers in the Walnut Hills offense for their first drive of the second half. They were scoreless on 6 drives in the first half. This will be number 7. And it'll be the heavy set, it looks like, for Walnut. Their first turnover of the game came in this under center formation. Jonathan Jackson lined up 5 yards behind Rivers. 3-man shield to the right, and a timeout will be called by the Eagles. So something they didn't like there. Eagles have managed to turn away Milford on back-to-back drives now. That last drive was a particularly impressive showing because on Milford's last drive of the first half, they had to have some drops to get to fourth down where they punted. That time, Walnut actually made some plays. Were able to get in good position on some balls thrown by Jaden Bodley. It's an impressive showing. We'll keep eyes for you on Turpin and Little Miami, who are Walnut's next 2 opponents, as we continue later into the night for this game. Little Miami looked very impressive in their season opener against Jackson. They went on the road, traveled over an hour to a very solid Northeast Ohio powerhouse, and managed to have a chance to win in the fourth quarter. They played competitive football. All right. Same formation out of the timeout for Will Rivers and the Eagles. 1st and 10 from their own 48-yard line after the turnover on downs. Snap to Rivers. He will hand it to Jackson. He runs in the middle. Oh, no. Other side, and it's Lewis on the run. He will get nothing. It looks like it would be Jackson up the middle. He actually put a pretty big hit on Jensen Davis, but it was instead Lewis on the triple option. No gain for the Eagles offense, 2nd down and 10. Don't know if that was a read or just Lewis designed to get the ball. Walnut will line up the same way. They will motion a couple of receivers out and now take Lewis and Murray back in to go back to the heavy set, 2nd down and 10. And a flag thrown will stop play. Procedural on Walnut. Looking like it may have been Malachi Lewis. We've not seen any of these false start penalties. We've not seen a number named on any of these false starts. For as good as this PA system has been, we didn't have that at West High, but we're not going to know who that is. 2nd down and 15 now. Still in the heavy set. Rivers sends Lewis in motion, and the snap is fumbled. It's on the ground. Jackson picks it up, and he'll be brought down. No, he stays on his feet. but finally taken out of the 39. Ball came out. It was recovered by Whiteloff. Jackson is still down, and it looked like Jackson may have had a hand grabbed on his face mask. No call was made, and it's a turnover, the fourth of the game for Walnut. So again, no laundry thrown on that tackle that jarred the ball loose out of Jackson's hands. Fourth turnover of the game on 7 drives for Walnut. And the Milford offense will have it back in plus territory. Official timeout now called. Jackson is still down. We saw Jackson out for about 2/4 of the Western Hills game with an injury. This time he gets to his feet and not putting a whole lot of weight on his left leg, but eventually starts walking normally again. Hopefully that's no big deal. Doesn't make the pain of the turnover any worse. Or any less, I guess. And that's the real killer. When you face a team that has more talent than you, you want to play fundamental football, and that's now 4 turnovers for the Eagles offense. Only 6 total first downs. Snap to Bodley. Quick toss goes left side. Brazington, and it's through his hands. It was off target by Bodley.
Number 9, Bodley's pass ball.
A little bubble screen out to the left side. It wouldn't have gone for much unless Walnut missed a bunch of tackles, but another incompletion for Bodley at 2nd down and 10.
And a 2nd down and 10.
Let's see. Jonathan Jackson's already back on the sideline, so it looks like it's no big deal, hopefully. 2nd and 10. Snap to Bodley. Throws it quickly right side for Dahmer, and he dives, and he hauled that in. Just at about the first down marker. That will bring up 3rd and short. That was on the near side, about the 29-yard line, gain of 9. And that out routed to Joey Dahmer, or a curl on the sideline, has worked wonders for this Milford offense whenever Bodley needs an easy completion. That's his first career 100-yard game. Now it's Randall up the middle, and he will be stopped after a game of about 1. Looks like he got the first down.
To number 19, Simon Randall. Back on the play, but number 0, Jonathan Jackson Jr.
Gave him 2 yards and a Milford first down to the 27.
And that play is good for a first down, sponsored by McGee Funeral. Eagles will have the call 1st and 10 at the 27.
Milford has been getting their calls in quick and then running the play. That's something that's impressed me about their offense so far. Bodley launching deep right side. Dahmer caught with one hand for a Milford touchdown. What a catch by Joey Dahmer. His 2nd TD of the day with Joshua Thornton in tight coverage. Joey Dahmer hauled it in with one hand for the Milford touchdown. 2nd TD of the game for Dahmer, 3rd for Bodley. That'll turn on the running clock after this extra point by McQueen. But Joey Dahmer, man, what a catch that was. McQueen off the extra point and make it 31-0. And a flag thrown. That'll back this extra point try up 5 yards. Milford player flinched. And Jaden Butler looks every bit the part of his 2 predecessors, Austin Hardin and Luke Brand, I would say tonight. He's been fitting some very tight passes in there. So this will be 25 on the extra point for McQueen. No problem for him, and it's 31-0. Running clock will turn on with a 30-yard gap. Milford now turning on their light show. Can't really describe that light show over the radio, but it is pretty nice. I haven't seen the point get put on the board. I don't know if he missed that or what. Scoreboard saying 30-0. The running clock will turn on either way, as it has just done. So it looks like no point on that XP. It's 30-0. Walnut lasted about 3 minutes longer without the running clock than did last year. Tyler McQueen on the kickoff. Kick by McQueen is a low line drive. Dennis will field it at inside his own 5, spring out to the 10. Dennis cuts left side to the 15, tries to get the corner to the 25, runs to the 30, and he's hit and dropped, and that should hopefully draw some laundry. He was grabbed with a face mask by the puncher, the kicker McQueen. And somehow there was no laundry. I do not know what I'm seeing here, but that looked pretty clear. Walnut sideline erupted. They saw the same thing that I did. But in any case, Dennis did get to the 35-yard line. A good return for him, over 30 yards. Clock is running. Walnut will need to get within 20 to make it stop. That requires 2 scores. Will Rivers and the starters still out there. Same with Milford. They still have Jake Dixon and Isaiah Carranza, their star players on defense out there. Two receivers each side. One on offense has not scored tonight and has turned it over 4 times. Lures goes in motion. Rivers will keep it, running left side, trying to turn the corner, and he will be forced out just at about the 40-yard line. Beck Williams, defensive back, in on that play. Give him about 4 yards to the 39. It's 2nd down and 6. $30-0. The running clock on midway through the 3rd quarter. Milford is shaken off their defeat against Withrow and come back resoundingly. Lures goes in motion again, left to right, snap to Rivers, quick toss goes left side for Murray. He's got to make a man miss, and he cannot, as again it's Isaiah Carranza. This time, we're going to see some laundry on the tackle. We'll see if that's on the tackle or Carranza was on the tackle, and Jonathan Jackson Jr. is telling him something. And we finally get that face mask penalty that we've been waiting for the entire game, it feels like. Isaiah Carranza made a great tackle, but was too high. That'll put Walnut in plus territory. Down to the Milford 47-yard line. And pretty much every time the ball has gone Isaiah Carranza's way, he's made a play. It's just that one was not legal. 1st and 10 from the Milford 47. Snap to Rivers. Back to pass. Pump fakes. Launches deep for Kalen Murray. And it is dropped. Great breakup by Carranza again. There was a flag thrown back in the secondary. Rivers' throw is on target, but Carranza, stout as they come, he'll be called for pass interference. So back-to-back 15-yard penalties on the Milford Eagles will put Walnut 1 yard shy of the furthest they've been in the Milford territory all night. They have not gotten past the Milford 31. I said this earlier on the broadcast. Walnut has not scored a point in the first 3 quarters against Milford since 2019, the last time they won. 1st and 10 at the 32-yard line. Jackson off Rivers' left hip. 1 receiver left, 3 right. Snap to Rivers. He'll run it left side. Got some blocks. Rivers to the 30. Trying to cut left side to the 25, and he's taken out of bounds around the 1st down marker. We'll see what they give him. They will give him the 1st down. Good run for Rivers. See, no, they're not getting the 1st down. Actually, a few yards shy. They give him 7. Down to the 25. This is now the furthest, the closest Walnut's been to points all night.
From the Milford Eagles 25-yard line.
Another stat to keep in mind, the last time a Walnut running back scored a touchdown was in the second to last game of 2023. That was Zion James, who is now entering his second year at Mount St. Joseph, with a pretty good player on their D3 squad last year in his freshman season. He's playing exclusively linebacker. Jackson gets the handoff, runs left side, has the first down, and picks up 4. Tackle made by Elijah Marsh Horston. That will bring up 1st and 10 from the 22. Nice to see Walnut get some yards on the ground without having to sell out for it like they did with their Wildcat formation. Now they'll go 6 on the line, and Milford jumps off sides. Pretty blatant there, and a flinch was caused. Offsides on Zymir Taylor, senior defensive lineman. That'll put Walnut in the red zone. Under 3 to play with the running clock still on here in the third quarter. Walnut now the call by accident, but the final score was 37-0 Milford, so he didn't miss much.